All right. Hello, everyone. This is Antonio, and I'm coming at you with another exciting video. I know people probably saying, I am so sick and tired of you making these type of videos. I make videos about rental fraud, homeowner fraud, and squatter fraud because it can happen to you. And I'm gonna make these two videos. Well, it's two incidents, but it happened in Decatur, which is a suburb of Atlanta. What happened is a DeKalb homeowner faces eviction over fraudulent mortgage. He says a Georgia clerk believes changing state law can minimize alleged property fraud. So let's talk about why do you think that they would not or they do not change the laws? And it's quite simple because when you go to court and you pay a lot of money to the courts become the cashier, and they make a lot of money to evict a squatter. They make a lot of money to combat fraudulent people that try to overtake people's homes. You have pirates of the sea. You got porch pirates who take your packages, but you have pirates who try to take over homes. And you got to be on your P's and Q's when letters and mail come to your home. You got to be on your P's and Q's because guess what? These people will try to take over your home. But without further ado, let's talk about it. This homeowner in DeKalb have lost his home because it was alleged that he took out
To engage with today's streaming audience, you need to be here and here and here.
I only owed them a few dollars.
Let's talk about what happened.
Nothing brings light to this Ellenwood home quite like Eric Clark.
Paperwork back and forward.
He's been the owner of the DeKalb County property for 20 years.
Okay.
Until now.
He said that he was the new owner.
Littered on the table, documents detailed the dilemma. July 2022, a real estate agent left a letter on Eric's front door stating this property has been foreclosed and purchased by Ace Homes LLC. Call to discuss. Records appear to show he took out a second mortgage loan on the home. He never made payments, forcing it to default, leading to the foreclosure. But Eric never paid it because he says it was not him, claiming the second mortgage loan has his signature forged.
I've never had a second mortgage, just the bottom line. And I'm no fool, I know right from wrong.
Eric filed multiple DeKalb County police reports alleging this is fraud. The 56-year-old described to police, quote, fake documents to steal his house, citing the realtor Mehboob Omar wrongfully has the deed to his home.
Well, I've been stressed out. I had to speak to a psychiatrist. I was just lost in the shuffle.
Right now in DeKalb State Court, he's in a legal fight. It's not his only battle.
Putting your mask on.
Kidney failure. Due to a bad bout of COVID, Eric requires dialysis 3 times a week.
But it beats dying, so anything beats dying.
A DeKalb County judge issued this in the sick father's case. Claim of wrongful foreclosure is not a defense to dispossessory proceeding, meaning even if Eric believes there was fraud, if he does not pay the rent to the new homeowner, they have the right to evict him while he's fighting a civil case. The retiree is not alone.
My house literally was stolen.
Fair housing advocate John Fisher told Atlanta City Council in a September 5th meeting he's uncertain how, but someone wrongfully obtained the deed to his home too, saying there are hundreds of similar but unrelated cases, all a part of a pattern.
The issue is out of control.
Across the metro.
They're creating documents that do not exist in the forms of a foreclosure deed or a power of the deed in the process without any proof.
Do you feel helpless in those kind of situations?
We really do.
Douglas County Clerk of Superior and State Court, Annetta Danley Stembridge.
Our hands are really tied.
Under current Georgia law, clerks like Stembridge cannot require IDs from people when they come into the clerk's office to file deeds, liens, or any other type of property paperwork.
We cannot question what people file.
So it's the honor.
So let me stop it quickly and I'm going to resume. Do you see the setup? The courts are not requiring identification when people are doing these fraudulent acts. And these homes, these mortgage pirates are actually taking over people's homes. And it's happening over and over and over again. If it's happening to the poor, what do you think is happening to the rich? They're trying to do whatever they take to take over your home. So when mail come in, this, they are stealing people's homes. And I'm gonna do a follow-up video on that. You know, a lot of my videos don't do pretty good like I want them to, but I'm gonna do a follow-up video on that. But let's keep going.
System. Simply put, anyone can file documents on your home as long as the paper appears to be legitimate and filled out.
We have to accept it.
Steinbridge recalls times families show up to the office only to learn their home is no longer theirs.
It is a horrible feeling. And just to see, the looks on their faces and, like that's that whole family's inheritance, gone down the drain.
It's why some Georgia clerks want state law to change, require identification to file any property paperwork.
You use it to get the legit sort of documents under fictitious identities.
However, even mandating IDs cannot be the only solution.
We're talking about fake driver licenses, we're talking about fake birth certificates, fake Social Security cards, utility bills.
Georgia State cybersecurity expert Dr. David Mammon
This is California driver license.
gave us a virtual tour of the dark web. The quality of fraudulent documents is so high, Mammon explains about 98% of the time, alleged scammers get away with producing, selling, buying, and submitting false records.
The very sophisticated supply chains, it's fairly easy to do.
The effects are hard for the once homeowners turned tenants, like Eric Clark, who must now pay $2,409 in rent or leave his 20-year residence.
It's painful and it's embarrassing more than anything to go out here to be my age and have to try to start over somewhere. That's painful.
Ace Homes LLC, the new owner of Eric's house, says other than directing us to the judge's verdict, they have no comment. As for allegations of property fraud, Dekalb PD is still investigating. And for other homeowners watching, to protect your home, the state does have a property fraud registry. If you sign up your home address, you'll get an alert anytime someone tries to file paperwork against your home. It's on AtlantaNewsFirst.com. In the studio, I'm Sierra Cummings, Atlanta News First.
Wow. So you must follow these steps in the process of somebody try to steal your home. There are precautions out there, and you must follow those steps in the meanwhile. So as you can see, the retiree and dad has been in this Dekalb home for 20 years. He's been paying his mortgage. He's been doing everything that he thought was right. But somebody took and filed fake documents and took out a second mortgage on his home, something he had known nothing about. Last year, he received a letter saying that Ace Homes LLC now owns his home. And now he is forced to pay $2,400 a month in rent to stay in the home because his home is no longer his home, a home that he's been in for 20 years. And the courts do not help you. The courts do not help you. They don't help you at all in these cases. All right, let's talk about the second part of this video. A man was arrested after calling police to report squatters. He just got his home back months later. These home pirates are dangerous, man. And that's why I'm playing this. He went to jail over people stealing his home. Let's see if we can start this
legally
over.
unable. Says that squatters broke into his home in February and they're still there. Backlogs with the courts and the marshal's office have left him legally unable to enter his own place. As Channel 2 consumer investigator Justin Gray reports, there's finally an eviction order, but the homeowner is still waiting.
Tim Arcos says just days after his tenant moved out of his East Lake rental home, he showed up to find someone had broken in. He says as soon as he pulled into the driveway, a gun was pointed at him.
I just jumped the fence and ran. I didn't know what else to do.
That was all the way back in February. 6 months later, the alleged squatters are still living in Arcos' DeKalb County home.
I didn't walk in on a family eating dinner. I walked in on weapons, a prostitute, a bunch of dogs in the back, my fence broken down.
But it was Arcos police took into custody that day back in February after he called 911.
And they told the police that I was a home invader and that it was their home. And so I ended up being arrested and detained.
Since then, Arco has been fighting to evict the squatters in court. After months of court delays, the eviction order is finally signed, but now he's waiting on the marshals. John Ernst is Arco's attorney.
No one likes, being in the court system, but it becomes even worse when it seems broken down.
Back in May, we were there as a squatter at another DeKalb County home was evicted and arrested. And that case, after a Channel 2 Action News story, the DeKalb sheriff bypassed the courts and served an intruder affidavit after Army Lieutenant Colonel Dalia DeRay's home was taken over by squatters.
I felt violated.
How is that a lie? That's a lie. Are you not a squatter? You're the tenant? Do you have a lease?
Yes, I do. That's a lie.
Can you show me the lease?
I don't have to show you that.
One of the alleged squatters at Arco's home yelled at us while we were in front of the home shooting video that he is no squatter. You didn't break into this home?
Oh, no, sir.
Did somebody break into this house?
No, nobody broke in this house.
I feel like it's very heavily weighted towards these were trespassers and criminals, not people that got duped.
That was Justin Gray reporting. Arco was never charged with a crime once he showed police that it was his property, but it's now been 6 months waiting on the courts, and Arco has been told by marshals that he should be able to evict in the beginning of September.
So this article says that he finally got his house back. And I'm just going to keep up with these type stories because people always tell you to get in real estate, but they don't tell you the other side of real estate. And the other side of real estate is these squatters are running rapid over people's homes and things like that. A DeKalb man has access to his home again more than 6 months after he said squatters broke into his rental home. And when you see this, a lot of times these squatters are never arrested. A lot of times they're never arrested. Basically, they just find the next victim and they go into that, that area. Channel 2 consumer investigator Justin Gray reported last week, this is a month ago, that Tim Arco has been fighting since February. Backlogs with courts and the marshal's office left him legally unable to enter his own home. So I'm going to stay on top of this, talking about steps that you can take to make sure that people cannot enter your home, because these stories are around the world, not just the United States. They're around the world of what people are doing to take over people's home.
You ever bend your fingers back?
All right.
No.
Have you ever choked everything?
All right. Arco has been told he'll be able to evict the squatters the beginning of September. The DeKalb marshals confirmed to Gray that it moved up the date for the eviction turnout. They evicted the squatters on Tuesday, and Arco is now back in control of his home. Back in February, Arco said tenants moved out his East Lake rental home and he showed up to find someone else had broken in. He said as soon as he pulled into the driveway, someone pulled a gun on him. I just jumped the fence and ran. I didn't know what else to do, Arco told Gray. Arco called the police that day, and he was the one that was taken into custody. They told the police I was the home invader and that it was their home. So I ended up being arrested and detained. So, like I said again, I'm gonna stay on top of these stories because this type stuff is happening over and over and over again. So, once again, this is Antonio with Team Tiggio. Please like, comment, subscribe, as we'll be coming to you in just a minute with the next video.